It was early January. One day I came home and my husband at the time told me he no longer wanted to be married. He had some other things he wanted to do with life, and he walked out on my boys and I. Then it was a 6 and an 8-year-old. I kind of felt like I was being punished for something, like something was wrong, like nobody cared. I just didn't matter. It's hard. You tell yourself a whole lot that I brought this person into our life as a friend, so did I cause this to happen? What did I do? Was I not good enough? Was it sometimes the behavior of my children? What was it that caused all this? And I kept turning to me. I obtained counseling for both myself and my children to try to help us understand what had happened to us, and I just couldn't get a grasp of what happened. I just was broken. I was emotional, a lot of tears. There was anger, struggling to understand why he had done this to us, and there was somebody else involved that created most of this. So dealing with that, and then just feeling like I didn't know where to go. And every day felt like that. Every day there was no joy, there was no hope. It was just, let me get through today, please, and get up tomorrow and start over. Well, I wandered around for probably 6 months, and I don't know how I made it through the day. I don't know how I took care of my children except for help from family and friends. And it was in October that my son had said, "Mom, let's try this church." We had been trying other churches in the church we grew up in, and just nothing felt right. And the story was doing their services at Pine Island Elementary, where my son goes to school at the time. He said, "Let's try my school, Mom. It's probably going to be a cool church." So we came, and the minute we walked in, my children, they were already running down the hall. They were comfortable in the location, and we were greeted by two people that just seemed to envelop my children, and we just felt right. And then after sitting and listening to that message, it just felt like the message was being spoken specifically to me, and I felt like God was talking to me and telling me it'll be okay. I believe that it was a message about hope of some sort, and for the first time I felt like I'm okay. And people seemed to just accept me there. They were very welcoming, and they welcomed my children, and I felt like it was okay just to be me. I hadn't felt that way in a long time. That first week after we went, we all felt a little happier. I think it opened the door for me to talk to my children a little bit, because they had gone through a lot too. They were angry and upset and not understanding, and I tried just to talk to them how God has a plan and there's a reason for all this, and we may not see it now. And I don't even think I saw it up until that point, and I just felt like it'll be okay. There were still a lot of tough days, but I didn't feel so much in despair. When I would get upset, I would find something in the Bible to read, or somebody would send me something, some sort of verse that I would post on the fridge for the week, and we would read it for the week. I tried to let go of all of the things that were external, that were trying to make me feel bad about myself, like it was my issue and my fault, and just realize it was God's plan and there's a reason, and I just kept turning to Him. For my kids, and maybe it's just different from being an adult to being children, they just opened up and they just soaked it in. I have a story. My youngest at the time was going out to get the mail, and my neighbor was out there, and he said to her, "We go to this really cool church. We would love for you to come with us." And that was maybe a month after we had been there. So he had no inhibitions. He just let it out there. And he would tell everybody, and he would tell stories. And my older son would ask if he could invite people to come along. Or the weekends that they were with their dad, they would call me Sunday morning to come to church, because they just loved the people and they loved the stories. And they have never not wanted to go. And we tell stories, or we'll read the Bible together, and it's fun to watch them learn. I just think I want people to understand that there is hope. Even when you feel like it's dark and there's nothing around and nobody cares, somebody does, and you have to open up your heart and listen for it. And that was a hard lesson that I had to learn, and I would just share that, just be open to it, and put the right people in your lives, and get the people who are negative out of your life, and your perception on things will change.